Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty in the Frizz. My name is Cara. Whether you are new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me. I have a good one for you today. First of all, it's Sunday, so y'all know it's mimosas and makeup. I am drinking cupcake Pinot Grigio today, and my sister gave me this cup when I turned 40, so yeah, well I'm 41, I'll be closer to 42. Anyway, so I have a good one for you today, and I know it's one that a lot of us, including myself, have been waiting for. We are going to be playing with the Pat McGrath Celestial Nirvana Artistry Palette. This is part of her holiday collection. I'm going to show you the swatches. I'm going to do some looks, and I'm going to, just compare this and give it my final thoughts. Yeah. So if you want to see what I think about this palette, and I'm saying that because I already have a few thoughts, but I'm going to wait. If you want to see me play with this palette, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think. And if makeup is your therapy and your love, if it makes you happy and you want to hang out with someone that feels the same way, definitely consider joining the community. I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. So y'all know I'm pretty much a Pat McGrath. Do I consider myself a stan? In a way. I don't get everything though. So I'm a huge fan, but I'm not sure if I'm a stan. Let me know what y'all think. Am I a stan? I don't know. I became a stan, but not necessarily like on purpose. I can't explain it. Anyway, y'all know the excitement I had when this collection dropped, the Celestial Nirvana collection. I was really, really happy to see Pat McGrath drop a collection that just looked different from what she has been coming out with. I was not super excited about the Mothership Tint. It's a cool palette, but definitely not my favorite. And then we had Utopian Dream, which I'm a year later starting to appreciate. Before that, we had Divine Rose 2, then Divine Rose. So we know that she's been on this pink kick, and this collection, when it dropped, I felt like it was the answer to what a lot of her fans have been wanting. We have been asking for color. We have been asking for mattes of different colors other than the traditional transitional brown, mauve, and the deep brown and plums that she usually comes out with. So, when this released, I was happy to see it. I really can't complain. My initial thoughts about the collection was that I wanted everything, and I just was so wild by it. We all know that Pat McGrath does a lot with her promo. There's a lot of glitz, a lot of sequins, a lot of sparkles, a lot of filtering. When the dust settled, I think that, and I'm saying think because all of the collection didn't release at the same time, I think I'm just going to stick with the palette for now. As of yesterday, when you're seeing this, today is Saturday evening, she did release the 2.5 pants, and I know I didn't want the more pink one, but she had one that was called Bronzy something, and I was like, oh, I might get that. But when I thought about it, those bronzy golds are also shades that I have many times over from Pat McGrath. So I did not purchase those. I did not purchase the 3 mascaras. I'm going to be passing on the blush palettes as well because I have a lot of her blushes from the initial release and a few of the duo blushes. So I'm gonna end up repeating myself, and I can't use they're good for travel thing because I really don't go anywhere where I need to have those in a travel size. So those are gonna be a no. She also had a separate blush in Nude Venus 2. Looks a bit light, and just not sure how much is it going to vary from the original Nude Venus, which I love, so I'm going to say no to that. The highlighter looks amazing with the heart, but I think I'm going to wait for a sale for that one. I was going to say I waited for the Bridgerton one, but I don't think it was was it the Bridgerton one I got? I don't know. There was one she had called Lunar something, Lunar Nude. It was embossed and everything, and I got that on sale. So no, that was from the holiday collection from last year. So I'm gonna wait. So the only thing that I'm going to be showcasing is this palette, and I think that's a great choice because there are some other holiday collections that are coming out. I mean, there's a lot of them, and I think that, you know, this is going to be the main thing that people are going to be looking forward to. So just some information about this palette. This is the Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana. It has 18 shades and it has a 24-month shelf life. This palette is made in Italy. Now, taking a look at her previous Mothership Mega palettes, let's just check. The one from last year, which is Celestial Odyssey, has a 12-month shelf life, and it's made in the USA and imported ingredients. And the palette from 2020 has a 12-month shelf life. This is Celestial Divinity, and this one is made in the US with imported ingredients. So just a little something different here, that this one is made in Italy, and we can look at the size of the palettes and all of that at the end, but let's go ahead and focus on this. Now, I have played with this palette already and I've swatched it, so it's not going to be totally pristine, but here it is. And you see that we have a lot of variety in the mattes, which is not something that a lot of us are used to getting from Pat McGrath. If you shop her brand often, we really don't get this variety. So I know many of us are happy with the teal. There's a blue, 2 purples. You have a pink here and like a fiery orangey red shade. And you've got a, is this matte? Yeah, you got a nice brown here too. 2 browns. So that's it. Let's go ahead and cut into the swatches. Now, before I get into that, I just want to share that she grouped this palette basically into 3 6 pans. So when you see the swatches, that's how I have them grouped. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut into those right now and just pull up my notes. So the first 6 pan will be the neutral pan, and that's called Neutral Definition. So you see that there's some cool browns, there's a warmer gold, and then there's a teal. Then we have the cool 6 pan, which is called Blue Violet. For the mattes, we have a navy blue, we have 2 purples, and then we have 3 shimmers. We have a pink, kind of an icy, like an icy white, and then an icy blue shade. And then the last 6 pan is going to be the warm 6 pan, which is called Crimson Fuchsia. So we do have 3 shimmers. 2 are kind of bronzy, one's like a gold, one's like a bronze. And then we have like a coppery shade. And then for the mattes, we do have this fiery red orange. We have a pink, and then we have a deeper red. So those are the swatches. And I hate getting into all the shade names because they're all reversed on the back, and I usually end up messing it up. We're gonna get ready to get into the looks, but I wanna say this because I don't wanna be a complainer, because I'm not. I filmed 4 looks last night. I did 1 on each eye. I ended up liking 2 of them, and the other 2 I just didn't like. And I'm gonna be honest, even though the palette is grouped a certain way, which I think is a great idea to make something like this easier for people who may not know how to use colors together, I'm still having a bit of trouble with the palette. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this look. So these looks, and I'm actually starting over. I also want to share that, and it's hard sometimes to really understand and envision what Pat McGrath's palettes are gonna look like, because they are just so filtered and so sparkly. So I'm gonna just be honest and say that I think the palette is beautiful, but when I swatched it, I did not feel the same excitement. So I just want to share that because I'm a huge fan of Pat McGrath, but I also have to be like 100% honest. And even some people, when I did an Instagram reel, they were like, I hope I still like it when I get it. And then I had some people say, I like this even more. Some people did not like it as much. So it's really nice to have like real swatches, you know what I mean? So I don't think that's something that she's gonna change, but I noticed that even when she does her looks on the models, you know, it's just so bright, and you know, in a natural lighting situation, the shadows don't always appear that way. So, you know, I definitely take that into account when I'm looking at these swatches. Like, the swatches are beautiful, and I think my swatches are beautiful, but they're just not the same. So just wanted to say that, and I'm not, at the same time, it's not necessarily deceiving. I don't know, it's hard for me to explain it, but I like seeing, for Pat McGrath, I love the promo, I love the excitement, I love the drama, I love the sequence, I love that. But then it's like, let me see what this really looks like, you know? So let's go ahead and let's play around with this palette and see what we think. Now, I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to stay in the 6 pans. I'm just not sure about that. I might for a couple looks, but I'm just not sure. I'm not even sure how many looks I'm gonna do. But we're gonna go ahead and get started because I'm not trying to hold y'all all day. And let's just start. I wanna start with a way that we can use this palette for just like a everyday go-to type situation. So this was one look that I did yesterday. I did film it, but I'm just gonna redo it, that I really liked. I really liked using this little quad right here. So let's go ahead and do that and see what y'all think about this first look. How many August did I sound like that? I don't know if y'all can hear him, but August is doing the most. By the way, let me tell you what's on my face. It's probably the same thing I've been wearing every day now, which is I have on Hourglass foundation today, and I'm actually wearing a combination of a blush from the Elephant palette and then the highlighter from the Tiger palette. Like, and my concealer is LYS, so looks so good. I have Pat McGrath and Nude Venus, and I didn't reapply because I had on makeup earlier, but I didn't reapply, but I did have the Elephant bronzer on as well. So I think this shade here is bronze. I believe this shade is Desert Divinity. So I'm gonna go into that. And I have a Sydney Grace just blender brush. This looks like a, you know, like a general blending type brush. And I have on the Urban Decay Primer Potion in the shade Eden. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in the transition area. And I love this. This reminds me of like, it's a little lighter than like a milk chocolate shade, but it's a cool tone brown that I really like. I have a shade by Sydney Grace. I think it's Concrete Road or Rover or both, that really remind me of this, and I love this a lot. It's a really nice shade. And as per usual, I do enjoy Pat McGrath's mattes. I think they're really nice. I am really, even though I don't necessarily love all of the mattes in this palette, I'm really happy to see different mattes. Even the browns are different, and that makes me happy. And the thing is, you know, what I like that she did with this holiday set is if, you know, you want to stay with the more neutral situation, you know, you can go ahead and just get the 5 pans, you know. You've got like a classic, I don't know, glam with the gold, the bronzy one. It's got like a really deep brown or black in it. And then she has the one that's more of the mauvey pinky tones. So, and that's supposed to be a new formula. I don't know if there are any new formulas in this palette, but the new formula thing almost got me. And then I was just kind of like, Cara, what are we doing? Like, you really don't like them that much, you know? So you can see that that blends out really nice in the transition. Kind of brought it over a little far, but this is a really pretty shade. I really, really like this matte. Now what I'm gonna do is go into Nightfall, and I'm gonna take this brush from Blend Bunnies Cosmetics, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put that in the crease to deepen it up. This also reminds me a bit of like that Coffee Talk palette that Sydney Grace came out with. These aren't really the browns I normally go for because they're a cool tone, but I think they're they're nice. I really do like them. And that's just giving some depth to the look in the crease. Now, you know, I just had a thought, because what I did in my look yesterday was I had this in the crease and the outer corner like that. And then what I did was I took one of these shimmers and put it on the lid. And then I tried to do a second look where I used the blue, and this blue is just, oh God, it's blue. So what I think I want to try to do, and I may end up taking it off, but I'm going to take this blending brush from Melt, and I'm going to go into Altered State. Altered State is that pop of blue. And let's see if we can put that on the outer corner, because I want to make use of this matte, but this is not a matte that I want in my transition. It's not a matte that I just want to put on the lower lash line. Let's just see what this looks like. And I'm glad I'm redoing this, because I did not think about this yesterday. So, you know, for my people that don't like blues like me, I want to make this into a look that I will like and enjoy. So I'm actually glad I kind of slept on this and decided to refilm, because see, I like this. I'm not sure how I feel about it in the 6 pan, but blue and brown look really good together. And I think this is going to be a look that I would definitely be into. Hello.
One of these.
For sure. I can work with this. And I'm so happy now, because I was not having the best thoughts about this palette, you guys. Like, I have to be 100% honest. Going back into the deeper brown. Okay, yes, I'm happy. Let me know what y'all think. Let's now go into Bronze Infatuation. And I think this is gonna be a great shimmer for the lid. Look at that, that's gorgeous. I'm really happy, y'all, because this blue, like, I had put the blue all over. I was like, girl, this is a mess on you. Like, I know some people can pull it off, and I might be able to pull it off, but I did not like it. Then going into the deep brown again for the outer corner. It's kind of blending it into the blue or the green. I'm gonna call it green. It's not necessarily blue. It's like a teal. This bronze shade is gorgeous. So I really like that. And I'm gonna go into my initial transition here with my Rephr 26 under the lower lash line. Now we have 2 shades left. I'm not necessarily gonna be using all the colors, but see, this is a little out of place, you know, with these kind of cool tones. So I'm gonna take this one, which is called Cosmic Champagne, for the inner corner. Wait. I think that's gonna look really nice. All right, so there's our first look. I'm trying to think, do I prefer it without the blue? Maybe. I like it both ways, but like, this is how I'm gonna use the blue. So I just have to, you know, make it work for me. Here's what it looks like from afar. Let me know what you think about this, because I know that these shades can be intimidating, and I know like these mattes might be the reason that somebody doesn't buy the palette, but we can make it look nice. And it's nice and smoky. I could have even taken the blue and put it, you know, under here. I just didn't want to do that. Let's do a second look, see what y'all think about what we come up with for that. And now we're gonna go into look number 2. I'm a bit intimidated with this little 6 pan here, but we're gonna go ahead and come up with something. So let's start with a purple. And I'm gonna start with the lighter one. So if I'm reading this right, this is Fabulosity. And I just have a Morphe blending brush. And I'm just gonna start by lightly circling this around in the transition area. And some of these colors, like for the mattes, like the purples, I know are not the easiest to do. And I think that she did a nice job with them. So I'm only putting a minimal amount on the brush. I know that this can really be built up, but I'm just trying to keep it light. Let's try out Violet Vixen. I have another brush from Blend Bunnies. Let's try that out in the outer corner. It's kind of just what we're working with so far. Let's try out Aquarian Dream. I'm just gonna take that on my finger and tap that. Now, I like this shade a little more than I thought I would because to me it looks a little bit different in a pan. Like, to me it has purple in it, and I think it looks really nice with this, the deeper purple mattes. I think that looks really nice together. I'm just gonna go back into Violet Vixen. It's a little bit on the outer corner. I think that's so gorgeous. And then you know what you could do, which I think would be nice? Let's see. So I have a Nabla liner, and I'm gonna go into the navy shade, which is called Nocturnal Navy. That's this one here. And again, that's one I was really excited to see. And like, we could use that as a liner. I'm not great with doing stuff like this on camera. But I was also thinking that with the first look, if I didn't use this blue, if I created the look that I did yesterday, I said, oh, I'll use the blue or the teal shade as a liner, and I thought that would have been really nice. So that's another way to try to utilize shades that you wouldn't always go for, using them as a liner. I don't know if you can tell. I am getting fallout from this one, so you just have to be careful with applying it. Just taking the lighter purple shade, Fabulosity, under the lower lash line. Let's see, inner corner highlight. I could go with what's here, which is this icy shade. Did we use that? We did use, no, we didn't use that. Let's see if we took this pink. I don't know. I don't really care for this pink too much, to be honest with you. So I don't know where I'm going to use that. So let's just pop it as an inner corner highlight because I think that looks nice. Excuse me?
Can I get my shoes on? I'm sorry.
Can I help you get your shoes on? I don't need you to be sorry. Sorry for what?
I need help get my shoes. Oh, my Crocs.
You want to wear Crocs? Okay. You're going to put them in sport mode? Okay. Oh, they're already in sport mode. Okay, I'm making a mess. All right. So here is look number 1. And look number 2. I'm taking these right off, so I'm not gonna do the liner and the mascara because it just wouldn't make sense. I'm literally taking this right off. Let me know which one you like. I love how this turned out. Like this blue purple. This reminds me of something that I would create maybe with my Lunar Lavender 5-pan palette from Kaleidos. Really liking that. Ooh, the pizza's here. And then this one, I think what I will do next time is my original plan, which is to just use the deep brown in the outer corner and then use that teal as a liner and then maybe underneath. I think I would love this even more. And you know, for every day, if you don't want it to be so smoky, you could just stick maybe with this brown. So let me know what you think, and let's just do 2 more. All right, y'all, let's do 2 more looks with this palette, and definitely want to dip into some of the shades in the last 6-pan. And these are definitely my type of shades, so I'm really excited, except for that pink one. All right, let's see. We're going to start with Flame Fatale. That's the shade here. I have a Sigma E35 brush. Let's try that in the transition area. That's a beautiful shade. This reminds me of one of the shades in the Red Dragon palette by Odin's Eye, part of the legendary Diversa collection with Judy. So I love that shade. That's gorgeous. And I'm just gonna take a crease brush and go into Auburn Allure, which is this one here. Just gonna tone down some of that red. So if that red is a bit bright for you, you can always use Auburn Allure to kind of bring it down a bit. And I'm not sure if it's me or how I'm using the mattes. They seem a bit more powdery. I just have to compare it before I like say that these are more powdery than the other palettes, because they may all be the same. I just think this is the first palette where I've had so many mattes from Pat McGrath. It might not be something that I noticed before. So I'm looking at shimmers. We've got this beautiful copper shade here, which is nice. And we have this kind of bronzy gold. Let's see, maybe we can use both. So the first one I'm gonna use is Heavenly Bronze. Heavenly Bronze is this one. Just gonna take that on the inner part of the lid. And then I'm gonna go into Starlit Copper. That's this one here. And just continue it on. I like this. Okay, I do like this one. Then I'm gonna take more of that deep shade, the Auburn shade, and put on the outer corner. So I like that. It's like a real fiery look. And then on the lower lash line, let's go ahead and use the Flame Fatale again. And then for the inner corner, we're gonna use the little golden shade, Golden Angelica. It's that one here. All right, here's our third look. Let me know what you think about this one. Show you from far back. I'm trying to think which one I like the best. I don't know. I think they all look pretty good. So let's do one more look. I'm trying to use shades that I didn't use yet. I am gonna go back into this transition. That's just like a go-to when I don't know what to do, you know? So let's do that. Now I don't know what I want to use for my smoke shade, but I know I wanted to try out this shimmer here, and this is called Eternal Amour. So I really wanted to try that one out. And then maybe from there I'll be able to come up with an outer corner shade. Oh, I like that. You know, I think this might look really good just with the brown, the deep brown shade, because I was going to do purple, but let's take the Nightfall. Let's put that on the outer corner with this one. Oh, I like that. Now this one's kind of soft and pretty. I like that. Just going to take a smudger brush with our transition shade and sweep it underneath here. And then the inner corner, I'm not sure if this really goes, but we're gonna go into Lunar Lavender. Oh, that's funny. I was just talking about the Kaleidos Lunar Lavender. I think that's pretty. It looks nice. All right, that's look number 4. Let me know what you think about these two. And from afar, yeah, that looks good. I love that. I love this too, though. I don't know if I love it. I like it. So as I said, I'm just kind of playing around today, and I'm not going to be doing the liner and mascara because I'm going to be getting ready to take this right off. Unfortunately, I really like this one. So let's talk about this palette, you guys. First of all, what I want to do is just go back from the beginning, and let's start with Celestial Divinity. So Celestial Divinity came out in 2020. It did have the ribbons to support the palette. I broke mine pretty immediately. This palette, as you may recall, has both of the Star Wars 6 pans and then 6 new shades. Now this palette, some people felt like was a bit cheaper because it's all cardboard. There's not the lacquer that Pat McGrath usually includes in her traditional motherships. I just want to go in with a brush really quick and just see, are these as powdery? Yeah, maybe they are. Okay, maybe they are. What I really liked about this palette was that in this palette, I felt like you could put any 2 shades together and they would go. I really didn't have to think about it. And I remember I even did a palette bingo with my friend Dr. Ash from Dr. Ash and Her Makeup. And it was like, it didn't even matter which shades we pulled because you could not create a bad look with this palette. I don't feel the same about this one. I think you kind of have to be strategic with how you're going to put your colors together because certain ones are not going to look right. That's kind of what I encountered yesterday. So, and that's why I'm refilming this because certain colors are not going to go. Whereas in the Celestial Divinity, they all go. Now with the mattes, we kind of have the typical Pat McGrath mattes. You know, we have a brown here. Actually, we only have 3 mattes in this palette. So we have a brown, kind of a dusty pink, and then a plum. So, you know, this shade is one that she often has. I don't know, she has a whole lot of browns like that, but I've even done all shimmer looks with this palette that look great. I'll tell you which one's my favorite, but it may still be this one. This has always been like the reigning favorite. Well, she's only had 2 Mothership makeups up until now, but this one was my favorite out of the 2. So let's talk about 2021 where we have the Celestial Odyssey palette. Now, when this palette came out, we have the ribbons again. This palette has the black lacquer that the Mothership palettes have. I think for people who love neutrals, this was a better option than the Celestial Divinity. We have the traditional brown transition shades, which I love these. And then you do have 2 pink mattes that are kind of similar, but you've got a lot of different shimmers. I did like this palette as well, but I'm just starting to really get more into this because I've just been into more softer, more neutral looks. So this palette is one that I have used a couple times this year and I'm enjoying it more than I did last year just because of how my taste has changed. I think this palette also was the first palette that had like a different formula. It was like some 24 karat something shimmer. So that was good for this palette. This is another great palette. I mean, the only thing I didn't really like was like there was an empty space right here for no reason. And when we look at the 2020 palette and the 2021 palette, this one is a little bit bigger. I think it's a little thicker and it's a little longer. So you can see that there. And there's the thickness. That's that for Celestial Odyssey. Now we have our new palette and let's see, actually Celestial Odyssey is longer. Not that this like makes or breaks whether or not you want the palette or anything like that, but it's longer. And then the Nocturnal, what's the Celestial Nirvana palette, it's so you can see it's wider. It's not, is it wider? Yeah, it's wider. Yeah, so that's the difference with that. Now, as far as the lacquer on the inside, it's not as luxurious. This one, this is not lacquer, actually. I think this is cardboard. Yeah, I think this is cardboard. I don't care, but I think it's cardboard, so that's that. All right, overall thoughts about this palette, and is it everything I thought it was gonna be? So here's what I will say. I think that when you look at promo and when you look at different palettes, and not just Pat McGrath, this is a lot of palettes that I look at, we can get caught up in the hype. And I remember saying with Utopian Dream, I want a Pat McGrath rainbow. I want that. When I think about, do I use anybody's rainbow palette? The answer is no, I really don't. I have some rainbow palettes and they don't get used. I have the Blends palette, which is all mattes. It doesn't really get used. I have several palettes from Glamlight. Ice Cream Dream, I had the Cake palette. They don't get used. Anything that's like rainbow, I really haven't been into lately. So with this palette, and I look at this and you know, in comparison to the other two. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I am thrilled that this palette was not like a Divine Rose 4. I'm thrilled that I was wrong thinking that it was gonna be like the two Bridgerton 6 pans and then 6 new shades, because that's what she did with this one. I am thrilled that like I was wrong and that it's neither of those things. However, out of the 3 motherships, this would be my least favorite. I feel like it's a little bit all over the place. I feel like the promo pics in this palette, you know how you have pictures and then when you see it in person, it's like, wow, this is prettier in person. I think the promo pics look better than the palette in person. That's just my honest thought about this palette, and you all know I love Pat McGrath, so it really pains me to say something like that. I think that in reality, I probably won't use this pink at all. I probably won't use this one too much. I might use the purples here and there because I do like purple, but I think as far as it being cohesive, even within the 6 pans. So if I look at this one, like this is cool. If it was all going to be neutral, I don't know. I feel like this gold is more warm. So I don't know if I necessarily like this gold with these browns. I don't think I like that. And the thing is, I like warm and cool together, but it just has to be a certain warm and cool. And I don't know if I like these 2 shades with this. Cause this is giving me 1, 2, 3, 4. This is giving me platinum bronze vibe here, you know, just a little bit with that coolness. And then this kind of throws me off just a little bit. This one, I already knew. I mean, these go together, but I already knew this one wasn't going to be my favorite just because it's like a blue purple and those aren't what I usually go for. But I'm surprised at how much I love this blue, this Aquarian Dream shade. I really liked how that looked with the purples. And I thought that look turned out pretty nice. This Icy Lavender shade is nice too. But this is not a color story. If I'm looking at this 6 pan, I'm gonna be like, ooh, I can't wait to wear that. You know, I don't feel like that. For the last one, this one had so much potential, but this pink is just not, I'm not sure what I would want instead, but I don't like, if this was the color story, I don't like this with it. I don't feel like it goes at all because you have like a bronze and a copper and a gold. And then you have kind of this like orange red and this like burgundy. And then you just have this bright pink. And I just don't feel like it fits well. Honestly, with a palette like this, when I look at it, the first thing that I want to do is try to make little quads or little 3 pans, you know, so I can come up with a look. And I really had a hard time. So, you know, my second go-to was, well, let's stay within the groupings that she made. I kind of still had a hard time. So I don't feel the same way about this palette as I do about Celestial Divinity especially. Celestial Divinity, just like I said, every single shade you could put with any shade and it's gonna work. This one, not so much. Like I can't, if I did a palette bingo and got certain shades and had to put them together, I would be like, you know what I mean? So that's kind of one of the things. So when I want to do something quick, this is not going to be a palette that I'm going to choose. Like if I had to pick one of the Mothership Megas, I would choose from one of these. Like, because like I said, this one has more of that neutral vibe, which might be boring for some people. You know what I mean? And then this one, some people just didn't like that it was so purple pink. So, you know, all in all, it's not a bad palette, but it's just not my favorite. But I will say that Pat gave us what we were asking for. People were asking for, we were asking for, I'm part of the we, asking for purple mattes, blue mattes, green. Like she gave that, she gave it. So, and as far as the performance of the palette, I think the performance was fine. And I haven't watched, I'm trying to think, no, I haven't watched any reviews on this palette. So I don't know what anyone else really thinks, but this one's just not as cohesive as I'd like it to be. And I think that when I first started doing my eyeshadow, I liked all of that. Like, I was cool with things kind of being all over the place. But now I'm all about the ease. And I kind of want, I like to be inspired. This just wasn't my favorite palette. You know, it's not my favorite Pat McGrath palette. Am I happy to have it? Yes. I'm not like gonna take it back or anything like that. But as far as out of the 3 mega palettes that she's done, this would be number 3 for me. So, and I'm surprised that I'm saying that, because when I got Celestial Odyssey, I wasn't super crazy about that. I was just kind of like, it's okay, you know, like, it's nice. But when I want like a neutral type look that has something special about it, that's the palette that I grab, because it's so easy for me to put colors together with that one and have something that's like, that still looks amazing. I can't wait to see more inspo, because I definitely need it. I need it for this palette. I know I'm trying to give the inspo, but I need it for this palette with putting certain colors together. And maybe there's something that I'm not thinking about as far as like, you know, different types of eye looks. Like, I know I could have done a halo and things like that, but I was just playing around today. I'm not unhappy with the looks that I came up with. I'm just not overly crazed about them. I know my energy is a bit different than when I, you know, went over the collection, because I mean, the collection was massive. And I'll be honest with you, I'm so thankful that she did not release everything at once, because if she did, I may have wasted a lot of money, because I may have just bought the whole thing because I was so excited. So I'm actually thankful that she's like releasing it in pieces, because now I'm like, probably won't wear those 5 pans. Probably won't wear that blush or that highlighter, you know? And so I'm not upset that I bought this palette, but I think I might have been upset that I bought all the other stuff. So let me know what you're thinking about the palette. If you have it, are you thinking about it? The Sephora sale is coming up, and you know, Pat McGrath has been having a lot of sales lately, just random sales. So you could definitely catch this palette on sale at some point if it's something that you're interested in. And I don't know if the other Mothership Megas are available, but you know, if you missed out on them, they might still be available. I'm just not sure. But the other 2, I like a lot more than this one. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. And I just want to say thank you for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me for another mimosas or wine or whatever you're drinking and makeup. I hope this was therapy for you. It always is for me. So until I see you again, make sure you are being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and I will see y'all really soon. Bye.